So today is Chulin Mem Ches already, but we're still on Mem Zayin. We got to Mem Zayin Amud Beis, the top of the Amud. I just want to discuss two quick things.
Oh, at the top. I thought we were at the bottom.
We got mamish to the bottom, to the mamish the top line. We're up to the second line on Amud Beis, Mem Zayin Amud Beis. We discussed very quickly the sugya of the Unisa Devarda. So I wanna just discuss a very, very important shaila that Rashi discusses, and we mentioned it yesterday, but we have to discuss, just a fine point on it. What happens again? Rashi says that from the fact that Rav Ashi was not familiar with the Unanisa Devarda, this middle this rose. By the way, Rashi says it's called a rose because it's thin and because of its color. But the other Rishonim say that the reason is because of the shape. It has somewhat of a roundness. It looks like a rose. For some reason, Rashi doesn't say that. But Rashi says it's because of the thinness of the una and the color. But Rashi says, from the fact that Rav Ashi was not familiar with the Unanisa Devarda, Vaistois, there were plenty of animals that didn't have it, and Memela, and Memela's like Rashi. If you find something without Unanisa Devarda, it is kosher, even though all our animals have it. Rashi says Roiv have it, but Avada, it's kosher. That's what Rashi says, but Rashi, what happens if you have two? What happens if you find two? So Rashi, if you find two, it was a shmooze, and he says nearly that it's a problem. Yeah, that's what Rashi says. Now l'chura, what like Rashi, if none is fine, and two, the old problem is it's a yeser, and every yeser's kinotel dami, which means that yeser, an extra something, is as if I'm missing them both, right? If I have an extra finger, it's as if if I have an extra thumb, it's as if I don't have any thumb, right? So over here also, if I could go without the unanisa devarda totally, so if I have two unanisa devardas, it should be kosher because yeser kinotel dami. Right? So it's as if I don't have an Unanis Devarda. Yeah? Zok Rashi, Shamaiti Mipi Moria, Zokin Shenechgo Agdoli Ador. Rabbi Yehuda ben Rebbe Baruch v'Chaveirav v'lei Pirshali Daite. They didn't explain it. V'nirali Shu Treifa. Zok Rashi, the Yiseres the Beni Ubeni it's a Yiseres the Beni Beni. It's not along the line. It's Lamaisa Yiseres. V'lav Urcha the Chod Gufa V'lav Urcha. The Chod Gufa le'achsharon el mishum d'chol hani b'riyasa islu. In other words, like this. Rashi says like this. Lamaisa onis devar is a problem. One of them we gave a shtickle eitzah. We have an eitzah because kol hani b'riyasa kol chivi b'riyasa hachi islu. But if you don't have kol hachi b'riyasa hachi islu, so you're back to the problem that you have a una out of line, and if it's out of line, it's a problem. This is what Rashi says. Now the problem is good, but I don't have anything because yesek kinatel dami. So typically, out yesek kinatel dami. That is the problem in Rashi. So there are different ways how to say it. There are different ways of saying the lumdis. The Sichas Chulin wants to say, not the Sichas Chulin, Shchitas Chulin from Garbus wants to say a lumdis. He wants to say like this. The way Kol Hani Chivi Birasa Hachi Islahu works is like this. Most animals don't have this extra una, this extra rose, right? But some do. So what's the vart? The vart is that some animals don't need it and some do need it. An animal doesn't have it. The pshat is if we recognize that some animals don't have it, the pshat is that we say that you don't need it. Some do have it. They need it. So now zogt the Shchitas Chulin. So now the pshat is if you're going to have two, the pshat is it's going to be a chaser because he needs a second one. Since he needs a second one, therefore therefore it's going to buy b'chaser. That's a moedige chiddush. I don't think it's a little bit schwer to stup it around in Rashi. But I would say if you look at good in Rashi, it could be Rashi means like this. Rashi says, I'm not worried about Yeseris here. I'm not worried about a Yeseris. I'm not worried about an extra una. And you have a problem that it's an extra one, they'll cancel them out. I have a new problem, Zak Rashi. I have a problem that I have something in the way, Beini. Or Yeseris the Beini is a problem. Yeseris the Beini is a separate new problem. It's not the pshat. It's not the pshat that our problem is that I have an extra ear, too little ears, too many ears, a lot of ears. It's not about ears. The problem is I'm not allowed to have something bein aruga la aruga. I have the lung is in the middle, right? The windpipe is in the middle. He has the two lungs hang out on the two sides. All the lobes hang on the two sides. I can't have anything beini. Can't have anything on top. You can't have anything in the middle. It's got to be only those two places. You need to divide this beini. The teretz is what are you going to do that you have something in the way? Could Yasek and Natal Dummy? Yasek and Natal Dummy, you'll say that I don't have an extra one. But what's going to be with the fact that I have something in the way? I have something in the wrong place. That's what Rashi says is going to be a problem. That's why I don't want to stick with Midaik. Yeah, the bottom two lines of Rashi. Yeah. So Rashi is saying it's not a problem that I have an extra una. The problem is that I have something in the wrong place. It's a Yiseres the Beini. That's the problem. Okay, that's what I would like to suggest. Maybe a pshat in Rashi. Okay, that's that one shtickle. One last thing about something we discussed yesterday. Why b'chlal do we check the sirchus of the Reya? Yeah. So we discussed the Rashba from Daf Tes, that the Rashba says that there's three mahalchim. Either the pshat is like Rashi and the Rambam Mashma, because since it's since treifus of the Reya are shchiach, so mamelo we don't want to be we're machmir. But lefizeh l'chura you should have to blow it up. You should have to blow it up as well. It's not enough to check for the sirchus. You should have to blow it up because why? Because if there's sirchus that come from nekuva, so obviously there's a chashash nekuva. So let's blow every single one up, right? And the ma'aseh, a lot of rishonim hold you don't have to blow it up. So what's the pshat? Why would it be? What's the reason why the minig is? And seems like a minig kadmoin, mam shahelig a minig to check the sirchus. So we said from the Rambam, we said from the Rashba, two svaris that are really totally in the same nekuda. The nekuda of the sircha is that since it's not because it's motzei, but because it's nicker, and since it's going to be nicker, so two svaris. Either the pshat is since it's nicker, so pshat is so. Eventually, if there's a sircha, it's going to be found, and they're going to have to retroactively confiscate all the meat that was sold. And all the kelim are going to get all we're going to tarfin up all the kelim, and people are going to some people won't be saying they might not throw out the kelim. That's one problem. Or Zakhtarash, but different cheshbon that the pshat is because not checking it is like being ma'alamayin. Memel, if I don't know. But to just lahed you something that's right in front of you to not check, that would be a problem. Yeah, that's the two mahalchim in the Rashba. I just want to know. This is my kind of kasha, about Batshe kasha. I want to know who says b'chlal is a takana. The Rashba tells us that the sirchas are motzei. They're motzei, and they are going to be found, right? So let me ask you a question. If somebody's chopping up a behema and he's butchering it and selling it to his customers, so what would happen, right? Now, if it has sirchus, it's kosher. If it's not, it doesn't. If it has sirchus, it's not kosher, and it's not worth anything to their customers. If it doesn't have sirchus, it's glad kosher. It's very gishmak, right? So what's the price differential? Tremendous difference. So who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it on the suffix that he's going to have to throw it out? Obviously, they're going to pay much, 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 much less. So maybe the reason why they were always checking it was Pashut, practically speaking, Pashut economics. If you're gonna sell meat and we don't know if maybe retroactively we're gonna have to make a whole kokera and tell everybody that it's treif, so Mamela, then no one's gonna touch the meat. They weren't gonna sell it. Who says there was a whole takana over here? Who says there was maybe it was just plain economics? That anybody who's selling meat is going to sell it having checked the sirchas, because otherwise no one's going to pay a decent price. You ask him to the kasha? I think it's a good kasha. Mechdei said this b'chal takana. Okay, that's the two things I wanted to point out. Let's go. Let's go. Mem zayin mem beis. Zakti Gemara. Today's colors. Today's going to be a lot of colors. And pimples, all different kinds of things about Reya. We're going to finish up with Reya hopefully today. Hi Reya the Daniel Ufsa. So Rafram says a Reya that's similar to a Ufsa, like a block of wood, Treifa. Ikadami, some people say bechazusa in the color. This is how Rashi learns. Ikadami begishta in its consistency, that is very hard. Ikadami dineficha. Now, what does neficha mean? Neficha means, Rashi says, that's also chazusa. In other words, it looks like it's blown up, and it's white. Like it's also white, like a piece of wood that's also white. So the shaila is so if chazusa is a color and neficha is a color, so why is there two different lashonis? The teretz is, and I saw this on the side of my Gemara, and I think I might have seen others say this as well, that it's not different. Rafram didn't give all this list. This list is it's different lashonis than what Rafram said. We don't remember what Rafram said. We're not sure, or we don't know what Rafram was referring to. He said the Dami Lofsa, and we don't know what it is. So there's different lashonis in what we don't know. Is it a shayla? The Dami Lo, in other words, like this. Either Rafram said the Dami Lofsa Treifa Ikeda Amri B'Chazusa Ikeda Amri B'Gishta. Rafram said it this way, or it's a question of we don't know what Rafram said. That's the shayla, and so it's not shver if there's there's going to be two of them. Two out of these 5 different options of dami to wood are taka similar to others, but it's not shver because it's not mochach that anybody said one. It could be it's a shayla in what Rafram said himself. Ikadami de neficha, ikadami de bechiza. What does bechiza mean? And Rashi says this is Taka Kigishta. Again, also that it's in the consistency, right? The Amri, the Shi'iyah. The Shi'iyah, the less la chitucha da'ini. That means it's flat. It's not the lung has a whole bunch of different parts to it, and this one seems to not have a whole bunch of parts. It was just flat. But Rashi read Zois that if from the fact is that we only tarfin up something that if there's no mark, there's no chitucha doini, meaning there's no a marcation. But if let's say they're attached, but you could tell where they're supposed to be separated, that's already enough. The lashon of chitucha doini is mashma that there is no mark at all to tell you what separates the unois. That's this Gemara. Zakti Gemara, Amar Rava. And this Gemara is going to be a problem for the Gemara before. Amar Rava, kikochla. What's kikochla? Kikochla is blue, right? Chol, ksheira, kedyuta, treifa. Blue is fine, but dyuta is not good. Why? Da'am Rab Chanina, shachor edemhu, elo shel odemhu, elo shel laka. Because we have halacha legabi hilchas nida that if she sees black, then black is blood. Because we say that the color black comes from red that got ruined. Shalaka. So melawat. And we're going to see later on that odem is fine. Red is good. So if red is okay, so what could be wrong with shachar? What's wrong with shachar? The teretz is the problem with shachar is that the problem with shachar is shalaka. because since it's laka, so it's already sick, right? It's laka. Okay, so that's the problem with shachar. Now, kochla, we're saying is good. Now the question is like this. This is really a question on Rashi, a question that Tosis poses on yesterday's blot, but we're gonna pose it here, and we're gonna try to abbreviate the shmooze. Yeah, the shayla is like this. The Gemara before said that Rava said a whole bunch. That he said if mem vavam beis, Rava said hi reya the kaima gildi ochmi. What's ochmi? Black. Chazusa is ksheira. Now ochmi is black. What do you mean black? How could black be ksheira? We say shachahu is it's adamuel shalaka, and it's a problem. So how could we say that ochmi is ksheira? Yeah, that's the kasha. How does it stem with our Gemara? Yeah, this is the problem. Zog in the Rishonim, that blue, kichol, we're not talking about a light Israeli flag or tchelis blue. We're talking about a darker blue, right? And that is called shachar. Yeah? Right? That's called ochmi. So there are those that say that the pshat is that's considered shachar. And if you say that that's shachar, so then there's a problem because Rashi seems to say it's not shachar. But I think we could say better. Ochmi doesn't mean black. We're used to saying ochmi means black. Ochmi doesn't mean black. Ochmi means dark. It means dark. And so dark or shechayros is good. But black is a problem. That's what we'll say. Pshat in that's how Rishonim answer. So now I want to be medayik. And what's an negeya? So the negeya is the halacha in the Mishnah Berurah brings down that even though I have to have black ritzuos, but blue is fine. Why? Because of our Gemara. That our Gemara says kikochlos ksheira. However, I mean the Gemara before that says uchmi is ksheira, and that's shachar. However, zokt the Mishnah Berurah, when it comes to using diyoi for stam, over there you can't use blue. Why not? Because our Gemara says kikochla is ksheira, blue is fine. Kedyuta is treifa. Ink, that's already a different color. So if I say ink has to be black, it can't be blue. As I zokt the Mishnah Berurah. I don't know if our Rashi is maybe meduik not like that. Rashi says kedyuta. Rashi says kairit diyoi yavesh v'hu shachar. Is Rashi coming maybe lafuke? That sounds like maybe Rashi saying that only if you have a kernel of diyoi that dried out, that's when it has a more of a deeper black. But in general, the diyoi is black. It's fine. Could be that Rashi is maybe means to say that diyoi is always similar to blue. It's just over here we're talking about something that's extremely black, a much deeper black. That's a current shell diyoi yavish v'shachar. Okay, so to Marvaitam, Yeroika. What's the story with Yeroika? So Rashi over here, and this is an important Rashi. Rashi says Yeroika means kimin asav. You want to know what Yeroika is? Yeroika doesn't mean green. Yeroika means kimin asavim. It means it's similar to a yerek. It's going to be very important, Rashi. Yeah? Yeroika is ksheira. Yeroika is ksheira midrab nasan. Aduma ksheira midrab nasan. These two colors, Yeroika and Aduma, are kosher midrab nasan. Detanya nasan noimer pamachas alachti lekrach hayam basa ishachas lefanai shemala b'nar rishon umeis sheni umeis Shlishi havi oisoi lefonai. She brought the third one in front of me. Reisi shaya odoim, and I saw that it was red. Reisi shaya odoim. Amarti like biti hamtini loy. Wait for him. Achi yivla boitamoi. Wait. I see that the blood, the way Rashi explains is that the blood is all collected outside between the skin and the basar, and the basar needs, the pasha needs the blood for the nefesh, and that's why the child is not surviving. They waited and they mouthed it, and he lived. There's a tremendous amount of halachas that we learn out from these brises, these two brises. One of them is that first of all that they name b'shas the bris possibly, unless is not mashma. It doesn't mean that that was his official name. It was just his nickname. But the other thing is that we bring a raya that you could name after somebody who's alive. You don't have to name after somebody who was nifter, but they want to say there are those that say, but it should make sure that it's somebody who's a tzaddik, not somebody who's possibly not going to be who we don't know if this is a person that you want the child to emulate to.
Isn't it as part of custom?
Yeah, right. So and maybe that's where the covet came from. If you're only going to name after somebody who's chashiv, so then the custom now you understand the custom. It's a murdiga custom. It's a murdiga thing. It's a proclamation that you want this child to emulate this person. Sagt die mal weit, v'shov pam achas alachtim didas kaputki. Basa isha lefana isha malo ben harishin umeis. Sheni umeis shlishi have yosef lefanav reisiv shoyu yorik. I saw that it was green. This one didn't have, not the pshat is that the blood wasn't niflat. The blood didn't come yet. Marta like biti, hamtini loy, achi ibo baydamay. Hamtina loy, umaloy say v'chaya. V'karnaisin nasan above the ashmi. So here we have two colors. We have red and we have yorik. Now there are those that say that the first Gemara of red is a hemophiliac, and that was the first problem. Rashi seems to not learn like that. But there are those that learn like that in the first shot. And in the second shot, in the second story, with the yellow, this is a very, very big shmuz. Because here it says Yorik, and we're going to see from the Gemara maybe that it's that Yorik over here means yellow, and that's why there's a very, very, very big shita over here that we're talking about the child jaundice. What's negaya is, it's negaya from this Gemara, a very important thing. Because if the word is that the child's jaundice, what's the problem? Now, so memela like this. Normal, we assume that machla, you have to wait 7 days after the child gets better to do the bris. You can't do the bris the day after he gets better. Mashenkin over here from Nasan Abavli that he was it's mashma him tina lo aji boy dami him tina lo malo. So it's mashma that they mauled the child the minute after the kid got better. So memelo you don't have to wait 7 days. Would come out if this Gemara is talking about jaundice. That's on negeh mamsh la'alocha from this story. But l'maisa on the Ikka story we have to declare what would have happened had Nasan Abavli not come. What would this lady have done? Yeah. That's the shaila. Yeah? So Rashi says, Hamtini loy, de'ein lecha davar b'nei pikuach hanefesh. In other words, that until Nasan came by, we weren't going to, they were going to mal the kid. The Maisa, she was desperate, right? She was desperate. She came to Nasan Abavli, maybe you can help me. And Itaka said, it doesn't have dam, and you should wait. But until then, they would have done the bris. Pashtus, right? However, Tosfos learns not like that. Tosfos learns that the reason why they didn't do a bris is pasha because it's a third child. Yeah? We know that the chazak is only after after three, not after two. Zok Tosfos. It's going with Rebbe that holds trays in the Avi Chazaka. Since we hold trays in the Avi Chazaka, so Mela what? So Mela you won't do the bris. So then Loi Tosfos, what was Nasna Bavli coming to be Mechadish? He was not coming to be Mechadish that you shouldn't do the bris. That was pushing they weren't going to do the bris. Why? Because they had a Chazaka. Versteht they're not going to do it. It's Meisu Echel Machmas Mila. What was the shmooze? Nasna Bavli came here to be Mechadish that you could do it afterwards. That wait a few minutes and it'll be good, right? That's Azay Daf Milan. The problem is like this. What would have happened had Nasna Bavli not come? Right? What would have happened? This child was red. Yeah, he was red. He was red like his brothers. He was red. Right, and then the redness will go away, and they still won't do the bris. Why not? If the whole reason why they did the bris, if the whole reason why they didn't do the bris was because he's going to die like his brothers, we're assuming that their brothers also had the same problem of the redness. So once the redness goes away, let them do the bris. They should have been able to do the bris without Nasna Bavli's chap. Yeah. Unless you'll say like this, the pshat is so the shtel is right that why they need Nasna Bavli to come. I mean, everybody should have known that after once the redness is away, there's no makkah, right? What his chiddush was that you're going to be that the redness was the problem. They saw the redness, so the mashmoy says that the other ones didn't see it. He tzatzti boy. He was the one that chapped. In other words, he chapped that it was the redness. That was his chap. Loi Tosfos, that's how you're going to learn. Yeah? Loi Rashi. Rashi says not like that. Rashi's mashma that they would have that they were going to do the bris, and he was the one that was machadish that no, this is a problem because ein leidam, and this is going to be a problem. Okay, yeah, that's the shmooze. There's another very very geschmacka shmooze about this case. There's Reb Chaim Kreisworth asked, I think Reb Chaim asked him, and I don't remember who he asked. He asked a kasha like this. Rashi says that the reason why they don't do the bris is because it is yeah? Frekt Reb Chaim Kreisworth. Forget about Pikuach Nefesh. There's a much better reason. What's going on over here? The father has a mitzvah to do Mila on his son. Maybe you like this lamdus. Yeah? The father has a mitzvah's Mila to do on his son. If it's Pikuach Nefesh, he has no right to do it. He has no right to go put his son into his son's life in jeopardy for his own mitzvah. So not because of Avodah Zarah, because of the Gimel Chamuris. Not because of that. Stamazai. How does he have a right to go and do something to the child to be Mekayim his own mitzvah? This was Reb Chaim Kreisworth's kasha. So he told him, I think it was Reb Chaim told him, yeah, in other words, they're both true, and Rashi chapped on one. Yeah. However, in Chulin, he wants to shtel too. Very interesting. He wants to shtel too a shmooze. We're not going to go through the whole shmooze, but there's a shmooze by Moshe Rabbeinu that if Moshe Rabbeinu did do the bris, he didn't do the bris. Why didn't he do the bris? If he was allowed to do the bris, not allowed to do the bris. There's some Rishonim that hold that Moshe Rabbeinu had no right to go do a bris and be misakin his child when he was going to be Oel B'derech. Why not? And so others hold he had a right to do it. The question is if he did have a right, didn't have a right. So over there is a svara like this. Who's the mitzvah? The mitzvah of the bris. Whose mitzvah is it? Is it the father's mitzvah and he has no right to put his son's life in jeopardy to be Mekayim his mitzvah? Or maybe it's not the father's mitzvah b'chlal. It's be'etzim the son's mitzvah that's mutal alav. The son has this mitzvah. The child, the little baby, has a mitzvah of bris milah. The milah is his. It's his mitzvah. It just happens to be that it's mutal alav. But avada, it's his mitzvah. And even if the mitzvah, if there would be no, had Nasan Abavli not come by, and there was no chazaka, there was no heta to push off the bris, then you would have to do the bris. The kid's mitzvah. I pick up nefesh the Torah says it's the kid's bris. It's his life, and his life it's his mitzvah that's mutal on him. But l'maisa we don't do it outside of the regular shvichas damim. That you don't put your child you don't put your own life into jeopardy unless it's one of those three areas. If it's the color of kigavda, I guess it's like a brownish, purple, brownish color, is kshera. Kibsara treifa. If it's kibsara sounds like a red, but I guess it's a very, very purpley red. I'm not sure. Treifa. V'simonech ubasa basada treifa. If the flesh looks like if it looks like like basar, then it's a treifa. Amrav Sambar Breidu Rava Hai Reya the Damya Kich Shusa Ukimarika Ukigoin Beya treifa. Eli Reika the Kshera Hechidami. If a Reya is what? Kikshusa. Kikshusa is like hops. One of them is hops, and one of them is saffron, right? Ukigoin beis saffron. Saffron is a kind of a spice, also very yellow. These are all different shades of yellow. Ukigoin beis, which is also an egg, treifa. Ella yeroika dikshera hechidami. So Ella yeroika dikshera hechidami kikarsi, like a leek. Yeah. So now this Gemara is very, very clear. This Gemara is very clear that Yeroika does not mean green. Yeroika doesn't mean green. Yeroika means doima to a yerek, doima to a grass, right? Ta'asavim. So if you look outside at the grass there's yellows, there's greens, there's bluishes, all different colors are all Nichlal in Yeroika. And Rashi said Yeroika is Kimin Asavim, Taka, and if you look at grass, there's Taka all these colors. And Memelo Zok the Gemara, Hi Reya, if this Yeroika is not a problem, that Yeroika is a problem. And therefore, and that's why, one second, Rashi says, does Rashi say it? No, Tosis says. Who says it? Oh, show this video. Let me show this video quickly. Let me find it. Where's YouTube? Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's a very good picture of it. Oh yeah. Lungs, Otumbereya. Yeah, this is it. This is mamish unbelievable. Yeah. I can't get. Maybe I could. Maybe I could get this to be. Let's see if I can get the audio here. Oh, I get the audio. Here. Otumbereya. This is very kedai. This is very good to see. Here.
Utem baraya. If you got in a raya, a place that it's clocked, my sinan, sakinan, the karenala, we're bringing a knife, we're checking if there is pus.
Oh, so you see he's cutting it.
Inside the clocked area. And if it's pus over there, it's vada machmasmiglehi ikshayre. This is why air cannot go inside because of the pus. If there's no pus inside, we put on the leaf or saliva. If air is coming out, it's kosher. If not, it's trifle. We're going to show you now. We have here a raya that by the end you'll feel it's something is different than the whole busera raya. We'll see if air goes in, or if not, we're going to cut it up to see what happened in the raya.
So first he's going to blow up the raya. He's going to show us how you blow it up. See, nowadays when they blow up the raya, they don't have to blow up the raya with like this. They used to have to blow it up like this. Now they don't do that. They have obviously a regular vacuum cleaner, right? And
Where's the fun in that?
what?
Where's the fun in that?
In what? In blowing it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so here he's blowing up the raya. Look at that, and you're gonna see he's showing that the end piece is autumn raya.
Because see here is blowed. This is not. It's staying flat. So we need to open up to see and hear what's going on.
Unbelievable.
So we see in the bottom of the lung, it's like not a migla. This is called like a beer.
Okay.
It's like a bubble.
Bua.
The beer was holding back the raya should get blown up. There's 3 beers that you could find in a raya. Air, full with clear water, and full with pulse, with mugla. As of that beer, it's like more, you don't find just, it was got heart inside. But it happens to be, if that beer was sticking out in the raya, then you have to check what is inside the beer. If the beer is migla, mayim zakib.
Okay. Gewaldig. Okay, let's go. Yeah, very geschmack. Sagt ihr mal weiter. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Krum shol machmas maka. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Krum shol machmas maka. Bereil. Now we're going to see a few halachas of Rabbi Yosef. Krum shol machmas maka bereil. If let's say you have some kind of a scab, some kind of a crumb, something grew up, you had a makkah on the reya, and something grew on top of it. Ain't a crumb, right? So again, the mashmois of Rashi and all the sugyas are very clear that if you have a crumb, it's good. The problem is, ain't a crumb. This is not called a crumb. But if you have a crumb, if you have something that could stuff it up, it'll be good, right? So it's mashma very clear. If you remember, we started the parak with the suffix if your treif is chayzel kashusa, not chayzel kashusa. The lashon, the ikka lashon of Rash of the Gemara of krum shalom machmas maka bereya. Ain't a crumb. The question is this a valid krum or it's not a valid krum? Not the question is, no, once there's a makkah, there's no eitzah. The question is if the krum is valid. So it's mashma very clear that avada or treifa would be chayz b'kashusa. Rashi originally said that it's not moel masha oila lachazman. You would have to say that the pshat is that's what Rashi is saying. The reason why a krum shalom machmas makkah ain't a krum is because it was oil lachazman. Something that's not oil lachazman, something that's not oil lachazman would be a good krum. This is a gemara that we had already. A reya that made noise. If you know where it made noise, we put on it a feather, a gila, a reika, or a spit. Right? So the Rishonim bring from this Gemara a fakir to Raya. Why? Because the Gemara is mash. Okay, so we already established that there's a kasha from the Gemara before, that the Gemara had a kasha, why would I ever have to blow it up? Right? But if I can figure out why I have to blow it up, right? Now I have a kasha vakir because our Gemara is mashma that you only have to do the thing with the feather only if it's afsha, only if it's making noise. Why? I should have to do the feather test regardless. If it's making noise, if it has a hole, I have to make sure that it's right. If it has a neck, I have to make sure that it doesn't have any holes, right? So I don't know why, but I would have assumed the teretz is because that it's always going to make noise. But the Chachamim asked the kasha, and they say that ain't chanami. They say that the pshat is that if it's kuli high, you don't have to be choishish. You have to be choishish to blow it up. And for those that hold, you have to blow it up. You have to blow it up. But once you blew it up, you don't have to worry that maybe it would have a hole and you don't hear it, and it's not afsha. Okay. If you like Yadinan, this is Gemara. We had Yadinan, and if you don't know where the hole is, Maisi Mashechta, you bring a thing of water, the Maya Pshuri of lukewarm water, Umasina Begava, you put it in it. Bechamim, you can't put it in hot water, the Kafzi, because it will seal it. Right? Bekriri loy the Mitashi, because it's going to break it. Very interesting Rashi over here. For some reason, Rashi is Mefarish again. He's Marich again to explain what the word Mitarashi is. What happened to the Gemara? What? The
Gemara's repeating.
Yes. So the word Ella, Batkinala Bepshuri in lukewarm water. Even Vatzos are treifa. If it bubbles, it's a treifa. We like Shera. Tata, because we like Shera, because Tata Inkiv, the bottom one has a hole. Eilo like Inkiv, the top one doesn't have a hole. That it's making noise is the air running between the kruvim. So the Gemara weiter. Amaulam, Amar Yechanan, Reya shenishbachot kikito in Kshera. What happens if you have a raya that was nishbecha kikitoin? Yeah, meaning what is a nishbecha kikita? Meaning that the stuff inside the lung, the flesh inside the lung dissolved, and now it's swishing around from one side to the other. Kshera. It's kasha. I have nothing to worry about. Sagt die Gemara, Alma kisava chisaroin mibifnim loishmei chisaroin. Even though once it's going to be swishing around inside, there's going to be areas where there's no flesh, so that should be l'chora chisaroin mibifnim loishmei chisaroin. That's what the Gemara wants to bring a riot from. Sagt die Eser Rababullah, Harei Yashanikva. There's a lot of very, very important yesodis in this small Gemara over here, because we're going to see the Rambam mamish. The Gemara has two terutzim to this kasha, to the kasha that we're going to ask, and the Rambam and the Rambam and a lot of Rishonim toy with a third teretz that the Gemara doesn't discuss. If it got a hole or shechasra, my chasra. What does it mean, chasra? Ilim mi bachutz. That means it got a hole from outside. Hainu nikva. Right. In other words, if the outer crumb was chasra, so it has a hole. By definition, it has a hole. Elalav mi bifnim. So it must be that chasra means that it's missing inside, and we just said before the reish nishpacha kikiton is ksheira. So ushma minach zar mivnim ishmei chisaron. So tomorrow loylam mi bachutz. That it says chasra is mi bachutz. And if you're asking a kasha that's nikva, so why does it have to repeat it? Because if the outer crumb was already chasra, obviously it has a hole. That by definition means it has a hole. It's true that nikva is a problem, but not every nikva is a problem. Like Reb Shimon, that it has to be a hole that penetrates the simpoinos, the main bronchial pipes. So therefore, like him, but if it's going to be chasra, with that hani mili nekev the last bechisaron, that's where it has to go to the simpoinus. Aval nekev this bechisaron. I feel Reb Shimon moida. Even Reb Shimon is going to be moida that it is a treifa, even without a hole to the simpoinus. That is the Gemara. Yeah, that's the Gemara. Now, Now, Tosfos brings down a very important Gemara, Tosfos brings down a very, very important shaila. Tosfos says that there were those that wanted yesh sharotzu. This is the yesh sharotzu of Elu Treifus. The shitas yesh sharotzu. Very important. This is how it's known as shitas yesh sharotzu. What's the it's the bottom Tosfos. Yesh sharotzu. Yeah. Yesh sharotzu lesser. That what will be if let's say I'll have a reya. The reya has like a crease in it that it doesn't fill out completely. Even when you blow it up, it doesn't fill out. Right? So it seems like something's missing inside. Right? But the outer crumb is complete, and it's missing inside. Zogt Tosfos Yesh Ratu Lesser Al Chaser. Zogt Tosfos that can't be a chaser. If that would be a chaser, Zogt Tosfos, so why did the Gemara say that? That's the pshat in this Mishnah. That's what? Yeah. 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 It's whatever. It's not mi b'fnim. It's outside. It's outside. It's not mi b'fnim. It's outside. But the yesharot will hold that a chesaron mi b'chutz is also. It's only a chesaron mi b'chutz, but that's called a chesaron mi b'chutz because the crumb is going in. Yeah, that's what Tosfos says. However, fascinating. The Rambam Paskins taka. In that case, it's taka apostle. It's taka treif. What does he do with Tosfos' kasha? So the Noisei Kalim on the Rambam say that the Rambam learned that the Gemara is that the teretz of chaser is taka Tosfos' case of the yesharatzu. The Gemara is only ladas of the maksha, but enechanami. That's the real teretz. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Rashi is Meirich. There's a very interesting Rashi here that L'chura Rashi might be addressing this question. Rashi is Meirich to say something very interesting. Rashi uses a language. Rashi says, V'chisaron hu he. Rashi in Divrei Maschil Shenishpacha Kikiten. Rashi says, V'chisaron he. Shemitchila kula maleya v'achshav ches yirekonis. Rashi is mashma that there's two kinds of things. That a chisaron is not chosir, like the Gemara said in Amud Aleph, where it's missing a una. A chisaron is where it had something and it lost it. That's the problem. So the Gemara's kasha, that would be a teretz of Tosfos' kasha. That chisaron is something that was there and disappeared, right? And that's where the problem is. So the Gemara had no eitzah to say that we're talking about in the case of the yesharatzu for chasra, because chasra is mashma, it had something and it lost it. But in your case, it didn't lose it; it never had it in the first place. It had that groove in the first place. You hear? Rashi's mamish matri. You see, Rashi says it again. Rashi seems to be harping on this thing. That chisaron means that it lost it afterwards. And memela, it could be Rashi's coming to Bavar the yesharot, the kasha that Tosfos has on the yesharot. So to Marvaita, that would be another eitzah for the Rambam maybe. So to Marvaita, Zok to Gemara. Reb Chanina cholash ol gabi Reb Nosson. Reb Chanina was weak. Ol gabi Reb Nosson. Reb Nosson came to visit him. V'chol gedolei advar. Isaac made reya shenishbach kikiton, and so they brought in front of him a reya that was this thing that was pouring kikiton. V'achshar, and he was machshar it. Amar Rav. So Rav said, "V'u the kaimi simpoinus." That even though nishpacha kikiten is fine, even if it dissolves, it's fine, but it can't be completely dissolved. The pipes have to still be have to be complete. If the pipes are not complete, then it's not going to the lung can't rejuvenate. Amalei Ravacha Breid Raval Ravashi. How we know if the little pipes got dissolved? How would you know? Amalei, I'll tell you. Masina Tzah Dukunya. Bring a klicheres which is coated with lead, right? With lead, I think. Yeah. right? So it's waterproof. Their clay cheres was very porous, but this is waterproof because it has the lead on it. Lead. V'shavchina le begavei, and you cut open the reya and you pour it out. It was dissolved, right? Shiraiki chivri. If there's going to be little white streaks, treifa, because that's the dissolved pipes that make that whiteness. V'loik sheira. Amram Nachman, yeah. Reya sheni Amram Nachman Reya sheni muka vikrum shalakayam ksheira. If a reya dissolved, then the krum shalakayam is ksheira. Tanya Namiyachi Reya sheni muka krum shalakayam feel machzekes revius ksheira. This is talking about in a case where it didn't dissolve into liquid. It just all of a sudden it disappeared. It somehow some kind of a sickness that ate away at some flesh and it's empty. Yeah. So this is ksheira. As long as the outer part is kayam, afilu machzek is revius ksheira. As long as even if there's just even if there's a full revius empty air there, ksheira. Now here's another two cases. Nitla shalfuchis shala ksheira. Shalfuchis, Rashi and Tosfos like this first shot says that shalfuchis is the place where we just moved to Mem Chesed with Aleph. Shalfuchis is where the female gives birth. It's it's uterus. It happens to point B that this is a big shmuz legabe the uterus, legabe shalfuches. We're going to have the Gemara is going to have it later on also, but this is a very big shmuz legabe kashrus. Where's a negeya? It's negeya legabe if you have a nekev in the shalfuches. Where do you have a nekev in the shalfuches? Because our case is nitla shalfuches. The question is, what's the story with a nekev of the shalfuches? Why is a negeya a nekev of shalfuches? Because if you have had a cesarean, if the animal had a cesarean birth, gave birth to a cesarean birth, so it's cut open. So if it's cut open, it would be if there's a problem of nik v'shalfuches, you have a problem of a treifa. And lamaisa, this is very negeya bismanenu. Bismanenu, it's not negeya on the cows that we eat for flesh, but it's negeya for milk. Lamaisa, the milk is comes from the milk cows. Keseda, they do that. They do a cesarean section on the mother, and then right. These are all mothers. The cows that are giving birth are giving milk, and memela over there is a whole shmuz lamaisa with mekel bitziruf. I believe the mekel bitziruf the fact that it's batul b'roiv because most of the other cows, it's all mixed. All the milk is mixed. So you're getting milk from one cow that might be a treifa, but there's many other cows that are okay. So I think that's part of the tziruf that I think we're makel by a shalfuchis. Okay, so but there's a whole shmuz about if there's a problem with nikva. Okay, hisliya kaved shalah. If let's say the liver got wormy. So Bnei Asya came to Yerushalayim of three gimel regalim liyavna. They came to Yavna 3 regalim asking the shaila. The regel shlishi yetiru lehem. After 3 they were matir. Another massive sugya. Re'as muchal adayfin ein chosheshin lo. If Reya is smucha l'doifin, ain't choshish in law, right? Now, what are we talking about? Why should we be choshish? Why should we be choshish? This is a reya that's smucha l'doifin. Why should I be choshish? The teretz is we're talking about a reya that what? We're talking about a reya that has a sircha, right? It has a sircha. Yeah, a reya hasmucha l'doifin. It's attached to the doif. It's attached to the doifin with a sircha. So now it's attached to the doifin of a sircha. Ein choishish in law. You don't have to be choishish. Why? A sircha comes from a nekev, and if a sircha comes from a nekev, so this reya had a nekev. The teretz is that since it's attached with the sircha to the wall, we don't have to be choishish that it came from the. We're going to be told that the sircha came from the meat and not right. It's attached to meat now from the reya to the meat. So and the sircha is coming from one to the other. So where did the sircha come from? Did it come from the lung or did it come from the meat? So we're going to say it comes from the meat, right? Hell, so tzemachim. But if let's say you see a sickness in the reya, then then we have to assume that the sircha came from the reya, and that's how it attached to the basar. That's what Rabbi Yeshua ben Yumi Yom Nachman holds. But my Yehuda Mishpei Daf-Yomi my echazeh choishin law. No, you have to be choishin in both cases. So hey, Chavdina. So what do you do? My Rava Bashva Esroli. Rava Bashva taught me what to do. You bring a very, very sharp knife. Don't, right? You want to make sure to cut it, because if you're going to pull it, it's going to make a hole. It's attached to the reya, and it's going to make a hole in the reya. So you don't want to do that. So you bring a sharp knife and you cut between them, and you separate them. If there's a sickness on the wall and not on the thing, on the reya, so then we can be titled on the wall. But otherwise, if he loy machmas reya, he will treif. We have to be kosher that it's the reya and it's treif. Of afgav loy kamafka zika, and even if it doesn't, even if you blow it up and it doesn't let out air, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. Why? Because we know that there's a sircha, and the sircha is a krum shalom machmas ma'aka bereya that's einay krum, and memela it's not a good seal, so memela it is going to be a problem. He would be boidi. He held you could be boidi kit in lukewarm water. Amalei mazu to Brei Rav Huna, Brei Rav Papi, Ravina. Hod Rav Nechemi, Brei Rav Yosef, Atuna Hod Masisala. You learned it over here that he was makel to check it up to check it in warm water. Aha, Anan Adirava Maisinala, Masninala. We learned it on a different case. Dama Rava Hani Trei Tarti Uni, two unis. Dereya. Two uni dereya, the Srichel Adadi that are attached to each other. Less lubidikusa. There's no eitzel lachshuri. On that, Ramecham Rav Yosef came and he was bad glove b'pshuri. Maskav Rav Ashi haimai. If you say that we're talking about a reas muchal doifin, talina b'doifin, ukshera, I understand how the warm water is going to help you, because if lukewarm water proves that there's no hole, so we'll be told the sircha in the doifin. Avol hasam ihai nakiv treifa. There's a sircha came from somewhere, and if the sircha came from somewhere, for sure we have to assume that there's there's a hole. Yeah, so that's this kasha. So Mela, we can't say that the case that he was B'Shuri is talking about by two unis. There's a whole other way how to learn the Gemara. We have to really explain the Gemara like Tosis, because Tosis there is no nekev by a thing. But one second, let's just get down to the bottom of this Gemara. A reya that got a hole, the doifin sois masa. If it had a hole and this is a place where we're going to see this is a place where it's attached. It's very close to the wall, and therefore the wall is cold, keeping the hole stuffed up. Kshera, right? So what's the Gemara's kasha? How did Rav Nachman say before that that if the Reya was Helsabot Choishin law, right? Rav Nachman, the way we had it was he was the first version. He said that normally you toilet in the wall, except if there's a wound in the Reya, so then you toilet in the Reya. Why are we toileting the Reya? But even if there is a hole in the Reya, I don't care because Lamaisa Doifet Sasmasa, right? So what's the pshat? What's Rav Nachman worried about? Mi Amar Nachman v'Amar the B'Yisrael Mi Amar Nachman Reya Shenakva v'Doifet Sasmasa Ksheira. So tomorrow is Neshkin Kasha, Lei Kasha. Hasam b'Makam Revisa, Hachash Lei b'Makam Revisa. It depends where. Nachman is not saying that every time there's a Reya, it's not a problem of a nekev. It's only not a problem if it's right next to the wall. And where's the Heicha Makam Revisa? Chituchi de'aini. By the top, which is the bottom when you check the lung, but it's the part that's the closest to the mouth. That part gets stuck inside the chest, and that is going to be the doifen is going to be sesmasa, and it's not going to be a problem of nekev loit Rav Nachman. But still, if there's let's say a wound and a sircha to the wall on the opposite side, on the big umais over there, it would be a problem because there's no defense of smasa because it goes up and down, and it doesn't necessarily stay next to the wall. So therefore, even if the sircha is going to ultimately rip and it's not going to last, and therefore it's a krum shalom machmas krum. Sha'olah machmas maka b'reya, that's einoi